Greetings, grandfather. Now, I know that a great many of you are concerned with all the things you've been seeing in the sky, and you're not sure what it means. Some of you thinks it means the end of the world. It doesn't. Some of you think it might mean that ETs are coming to rescue you. I'm sorry, it doesn't mean that either. It means this, that it is time for you, as an Earth citizen, to personally embrace the idea that there are beings from other worlds who want to invite you, personally, as a citizen of Earth, to interact with beings from other places. You say ETs or extraterrestrials. So I'm putting it in that context, personal, because most of you, even those who really want that experience, have a tendency to think that when ETs come, they're going to make an effort to approach your governments, even your more loose-knit governments like the United Nations, for example, which, while not being entirely inclusive, does represent a great many people in its format. But no, it's not going to be like that so much. This doesn't mean that ETs are going to sneak in and go around door to door and say, "Do you want to be my friend?" But it does mean that the next attempt to contact Earth people will be more personal. And that's really the reason I want to bring this up today. A lot of you have been having unusual dreams. Sometimes you have these dreams while you're awake, and it feels like a fantasy or a daydream, as you sometimes call it. And granted, sometimes it is, especially when it's something you want or desire. But other times, it doesn't seem to make sense. You'll see, for instance, or have a memory of seeing, some kind of a place. Usually, it won't look crowded with people at all. It might look fairly bland. I would say benign. But what I mean by that is safe, comfortable, easy to be there. There might be a sensation of a city in the distance, but it will look different. Perhaps it will be under some kind of a dome, or it might have a sort of glistening appearance. The glistening appearance is not because it's shining or radiating, but rather because it has a form of protection that keeps it safe and, of course, keeps all the citizens safe. Some of you are going to recognize this description I'm giving you. You might even see in the foreground people playing or doing something enjoyable, riding a bicycle, swimming in the water, something like that, but it won't be a crowd. It'll just be a few people. All right? That's just one example. Others might see mountains covered with green or blue. Others might see a sea, you understand, oceans, possibly an island with a beach, and even a boat drawn up and pulled up to the sand. Not a big boat, not a ship, just a boat. Maybe somebody standing there, maybe somebody looking like they're having a picnic. They will probably look exactly like you, no matter what you look like. So don't expect them to look all ET-like the way they're pictured in the movies. Generally speaking, the ETs you will have contact with in the next 100 years or so will look just like you. Granted, in the past, there's been contact with some beings who, while humanoid, meaning a body, two arms, two legs, and a head, do not look like you. But you probably won't be seeing these beings. These beings came and were here for a while, didn't stay long, but were here because they were asked to come by other ETs to interact with you and see if you were ready. And what that means is, were your spirit personalities, were your souls coming to the surface so that you would be more likely to welcome other life forms? Or were you still struggling and at war with each other, with yourselves, and at war with other life forms on the planet? Many of you are not that way. Some of you have been forced into that situation and you don't like it. Not that many people actually like combat, battle, and being at war with others. You might have moments when it feels good, but generally speaking, you'd rather be someplace else, doing something else. All right? So those beings, as I mentioned before, that were humanoids but that don't really look like you won't be seeing them for the most part. Unless you've had a good experience with them, then you might have a dream with them or something like that. Generally speaking, though, for the next 100 years, you'll see, when you see ETs, you'll see ETs that look exactly like you. So exactly like this or that type of person on Earth. So breathe a sigh of relief there, okay? No one's going to have big goggly eyes or anything like that. Anything that you might see in the movies at times. So, the reason I'm putting it to you like a personal thing is that when you go into a place that's new, say you're going to a new school, or you're going to a new job, or you're being involved in a project with people doing something, and you don't know anybody there, you want to be sure, you'd like to be sure at the very least, that you could make friends with somebody there. In short, you'd like it to be personal in some ways, even if you have a job to do. It's the same for the ETs. They want to have that same thing. They're just like you that way. They're more like you than they are different. And the advantage for you all of living on planet Earth with so many different cultures, and many of you exposed to different cultures no matter where you live. Granted, not everybody, but many of you. It will be much easier for you to meet ETs than for ETs to meet you. Most ETs are not exposed to the variety of different cultures of people as you are. How about that, eh? So you are actually in a much better position. It will be much easier for you to meet them. And what you need to know is you'll need to be very gentle with them. Don't suddenly jump up and down because it will frighten them. So plan on how you'll do that. Look at it this way. If you were going to meet any other human being on the planet and you knew that they were nervous, you probably wouldn't make any sudden motions, all right? Maybe they're elderly and they don't react well to sudden motions. This is possible. Or maybe they're frightened and they need to be soothed. Most of you have been in positions where you know how to take care of others, or maybe it's your responsibility to do that. You'll be able to be friendly with these people. You won't have to learn their language. That's one big advantage for you. Whatever language you speak on Earth, you will be able to communicate. They will be able to understand you. Almost all of them will have a device, which is basically something while not being a universal translator, is close. It will not only translate for them what you are saying in words, but insofar as it's safe for them, it will translate the feeling or the nuance behind those words. Now, a lot of times, it won't be able to translate all your feelings because they're not used to the wide variety of feelings you have here on earth. So if you're feeling angry or upset or depressed or overwhelmingly joyous, in short, anything that you're feeling very strongly, they'll be somewhat insulated from that, even if they're sitting right across from you. So know that you will have a chance, basically, to learn about a different culture, different people from different places. And the reason you're having those visions, whether they're daydreams or dreams, is that they're reaching out to you right now. That's part of the reason you're seeing so many ships in the sky, because they're filling those ships, all right? They're not broadcasting something to you, but their proximity, you see. They're being close to you. Anyone that is close to you naturally radiates. It's the same with people on Earth. If you're close to somebody in nearby, perhaps in an elevator or a small room, you'll probably pick up somewhat on what they're feeling. You may not always do that, but you'll often do it. Because there's so many of them in the skies now, you are picking up on what these beings are feeling, mostly because, for one thing, as an earth person, you are highly receptive. You are born receptive. You have to be born this way so that you will be able to accept, appreciate, and experience safely for you all that you need as a baby. So you must be receptive. And you remain so throughout your life. Even if you attempt to insulate yourself from it, you will always be to a degree receptive. So you are more likely to be receptive of them than they are of you, because they will be filtered by that device that keeps them from feeling too much from you. But they can feel enough, so communication will be possible. So I'm giving you this kind of primer of E.T. statesmanship because it will be so personal. I'm not saying it's going to happen today or tomorrow, but it will be soon. So practice by making new friends, interacting with them, learning what they like and what they feel comfortable with, and allowing them to learn what you like and what you feel comfortable with. And keep in mind that you're going to be on Earth much more physical and outgoing than most of the ETs you meet. But that's because they'll be shy being around you, and they won't know what to expect, and they will have heard a lot of things, and they might be very shy. So you'll have to take it easy with them. Practice with people like that you have to be gentle with. And when I mean practice, it's not sufficient to practice on the internet. It's fine to make connections that way, internet friends and so on, and meet only if you feel comfortable and safe with them. But practice, especially with people that are of a different culture or are different or unusual from your perspective, as long as it's safe to do so. In other words, sharpen up your skills so that you can do meeting and greeting and welcoming in ways that will be appreciated. Most ETs will wait to make direct contact, meaning person to person, until they feel you're ready. But the reason they're here now is because those beings that they asked to come here some time ago, all right, they personally didn't ask, but their family members may have asked in the past. Those beings that came here for a while reported back that you were ready now, and that you could be welcoming, and that it would be safer to meet people. Understand that many of these meetings will happen with the ETs with younger people on Earth, because younger people are less likely to be reactive or overly reactive. So, what do I mean by younger people? What I mean is people under 13 years old, okay? And it's fine for you to have a parent or a guardian there, okay? But you won't need to bring any guns, okay? Or any weapons. Because if you do, these people will be insulated, these ETs will be insulated, and, okay, they'll be protected. But the protection process that they have, it's like a device that protects them. It has a nice side benefit. It also protects you. So if somebody gets upset or agitated and starts waving around a weapon, which is unlikely but possible, most likely any overt acts of violence, even if they're accidental, will not take place. Because the device has a way of keeping the meeting safe for all who attend. Now, I'll say more about that in time, but it's important to bring that to your attention. If you don't feel safe in that circumstance, you won't have to. This is only for people who might like to do this. So, get ready. Sometime within the next 3 to 5 years, the meetings might start. I don't think you'll have to wait for 10 years. The meetings will start soon. Good life to you all, and good night.